We're in a very crucial stage of the life of our country. And I think we need to take our politics much more seriously than we have done. Because where we are today, we have to accept responsibility for it. Because nobody took a gun and put to our heads and end up in government. We, and I'm using the word we, because I am part of the country. So we elected what we have there in government. We did it. Therefore, we have to take our politics more seriously. In other words, when we go to vote, we're not voting just for a person. We are not just voting for something we want for ourselves individually. We're voting for our children and our grandchildren, the future of our country. Therefore, sisters and brothers, give me a little bit of history. I'm happy that Brother Gregory gave you a whole list. When you hear a foolish person stand up and say nothing was done in Grenada since 1983, just say, Father, forgive him, for he knows not what he said. Sisters and brothers, there were 9 elections in Grenada since 1984. NNP won 6 of them, and the NDC won 3 of them. You could count well, you know. It is instructive that Sister Nolan, looking at St. David's as a constituency, just one constituency, she was able to point out the many activities and projects and benefits that came to St. David's because of the new National Party. I would like the NDC to come and tell us what have they done for St. David's in the 3 terms they were there. Because 3 is half of 6. So if they could tell us they do a quarter of what NNP have done in the same time, then they would make us feel a little better. But primarily this, it is no secret that this NDC had to be a disaster for the country. There is no secret about this. You just look at the NDC team, and we really expect that group of persons would have been able to bring benefits for this country. We need our head examined. Just look at them, name them one by one. Sisters and brothers, I ask you, just name them one by one. And you would wonder how the hell we get the government that we have. On the other hand, sisters and brothers, we know the NNP history for work and development. We see the past soldiers of the NNP. We ain't going anywhere, we right there. So the brainchild and efforts of the last so many years, because I've been part of 9 of all the elections, and the Gregory Bowen, the Clarice Modest Cohen, and just keep going on and on, sisters and brothers. They are still there, but mixed with the young, brilliant minds that we are bringing forward to help us to guard this country future. And some of us don't have to run for office to make a contribution, because any government that comes into office in this country and does not use the experience of past leaders, they're bound to fail, sisters and brothers. So I expect the next NNP government will utilize the experience and expertise and knowledge and regional and international contact that the NNP has established, sisters and brothers. And it's no boast. In our time, when we got destroyed, the President of the United States was able to call me as an individual, because we were part of the International Democrat Union. And at 3 times, this is not a boast, I'm saying that here for a reason, to show what connection does. 3 times during the period of my prime ministership, I was at the White House, sitting one-on-one with George Bush. And another occasion, for almost 2.5 hours, with George Bush and John Howard, the Prime Minister of Australia then. 3 of us at the White House. So when Ivan broke this country down and destroyed it, the President of the United States was traveling, campaigning for re-election in his George Bush Jr. And I was meeting with the team from the IMF, an international institution, to get money for Grenada. And they called me out and said they had an urgent phone call for me. When I went into a special room where they put me at the IMF building in Washington, and here was the President of the United States, and the second time calling me directly. He was in his airplane campaigning, calling, and said to me that he's going to be there with Grenada, and he's going to be there with us. And he asked me what time I'm getting back. He said in 3 days. And he said he's sending Colin Powell, the Secretary of State, to Grenada. I landed back home the next day. Colin Powell landed in Grenada and spent the entire day, sisters and brothers. And by the time he got back to Washington, we had $50 million from the government of the United States. That is connection. That is the people that have the contact. So don't play with contact. But look what we have in government. Who they know? Who they know? Who they know? Sisters and brothers. So you look at the team. Sisters, look at the team here. Look at the young man, dearly. You could put him anywhere in government. And you could send him anywhere to represent you. Yes, that is what NNP is about. It's not just, yes, they're young, but they have brains, they have connection, and they have talent, sisters and brothers, and will utilize that. Tell me who in the NDC could match dearly. Not one. Not one. Look at that beautiful young lady there. Look at that beautiful young lady there. She young. She brilliant. She fearless. And she pretty. And when you put somebody like her in government, you put in somebody to continue the building of Grenada, Carriacou, and Peter Martinique. It's not just an NNP you put in a real successful person who has conviction. And St. David's, look what you have. Look what you have. Look what you have. Compare what you have now with what you will have soon. Just compare it, sisters and brothers. You matter what? You matter what? or St. David's, for you to leave Nolan. I listen to all you election night, you know. If I you to leave Nolan and go and vote, a Lord of mercy, I would say your mother what? So I could go on and on, friends, with the team of the NNP, because there have a lot more of them that are not here. As many of the names were called tonight, as we were on air tonight. But I want to say to you, the reason I'm saying this tonight is this. Sisters and brothers, the next election is going to be a straight fight between the NNP and the NDC. And anybody that took their vote and vote for any other party, they're voting for NDC. Because NDC in power and destroying the country. So to remove the country from destruction to development, you must choose this team of the new national party, sisters and brothers. Sisters and brothers, some people sit down outside and they believe no, it's easy to run government, man. Anybody could run government. Just put anybody there. They come, they talk nice, they make big promise, and we vote for them. Oh yes, it doesn't work so. Friends, you have to understand what government is all about. You must have a fundamental philosophy to have a good government. You must have that. The ideas that you have to build a country is not a simple thing. So the philosophy must be there. But you need a right team of men and women. Because no matter how good the plan is, if the team ain't good, it can't work. So you have those two things in place. Then you have to have the proper leadership to guide it. Because the leader ain't good, it can't work. It can't work. And then, sisters and brothers, if you want to go forward and you want to make development and trust in this country, your infrastructure must be in place. How are you going to build a country without roads, water, electricity, telephone, and so on? Gregory spoke to you about this. That's why we invested so much in the telephone system. Do you know that the first digital telephone system in the entire Caribbean, came to Grenada first because they knew national party, sisters and brothers. My colleague prime ministers in the bigger country was calling me and asked me how we did it. Because they were getting trouble from the enabling telephone system, Cable and Wireless, who were resisting change. We traveled abroad, sisters and brothers, and were able to get Northern Telecom from Canada and the Canadian government to give us millions of dollars for the new telephone system. And by the time the new election came, the Prime Minister said they canceled the loan and it turned into a grant. So we got the new telephone system free of cost. Sister. Again, because of the connection of the new national party. So I'm building something here, sisters and brothers. So you must have health. Because if you're not healthy, you have infrastructure. You have to have health. If you're not healthy, where are you going? And if you're not educated and have knowledge, you won't be able to succeed. And that whole combination that I mentioned leads to productivity, success, development, jobs, revenue, success for the country. Sisters and brothers, and in that vein, you said we must take care of those who cannot take care of themselves. So you must have empathy, you must have love, you must have care for people. But what we have today only care about themselves. When they speak, you can feel they're coming from the heart. They speak with just words. And some of them so big. They like themselves so much, they can't like none of you. In other words, with all that we have, we must have love for people. And if you don't have love for people, I say, leave the people politics alone. That team here, the subset of the team, I am going to be there with them to ensure victory for them. Victory. Because I see myself as the father of the NNP, now I'm still alive. And I feel proud. I feel proud during this next election campaign, sisters and brothers, to be all around the country preaching the gospel of the new national party, the victory for the people of our country. Sisters and brothers, you know what hurts me? Eric Matthew Gary became Prime Minister of this country after years of sacrifice. He was arrested by the British, put on worship, and jailed for his struggle for the working class of this country. Yes, he did. And some of the younger ones don't even remember it. Some of even your parents don't remember. But he made enormous sacrifice. Yes, he wasn't perfect. Later on, he made mistakes, but we have to always remember him for the contribution he made to the development of our country. Some of us would not be standing here now tonight had it not been the efforts and sacrifice of Eric Matthew Gary. And let us give Jack his jacket. I remember one time a certain politician was calling him, let this blind man so and so keep his tail quiet. I say, my brother, you do not say that about anybody, because any one of us could be blind. And the man deserves more respect. Respect must be earned, and he earned it. Therefore, when some of them run their mouth on me, I don't worry. You know, I don't worry. I tell them, keep talking about me. Keep talking about me. Because I know I stand on the table of truth. I stand on the table of development. I stand on the table of love. I stand on the table with a good bunch of people who are interested in Grenada, Carriacou, and Peter Martin. So Gary made his sacrifices. Hubert Blaze spent over 40 odd years in the politics of this country. He made his own sacrifices too. When the country was flattened, we turned to him to bring back stability and measure of calm in the country. So we can't forget him. We go on and we talk to people like Ben Jones, who led this country for some time, George Brezan from St. David's, we had our differences, but he made sacrifice as a teacher, developing and helping different persons in this country, making his own contribution. Nicholas Brafitt also. All our prime ministers in this country made their mark in some areas. The only prime minister that this country has ever got without an inch of sacrifice and commitment to this country is the present one. That's why he has no appreciation for what he has. That's why he treats the whole country as his little children. He talks down to all of us. He talks down to his own members. I am telling you this, if they lose the election, you will see all of them don't even say a word with him. The only reason they are together today is because of the salary and the benefits they're getting. When that gone, all man take bush, sisters and brothers. Just take my word for it, sisters and brothers. I now want to warn you. I've been in government a lot of years, 23 years as Prime Minister, and as I mentioned, 42 years as a representative. Let me tell you this. If a man, you give somebody power, and I'm talking about the NNP NDC team, and they suffer you for almost 4 years, and they come in now like mad men and mad women, want to do everything. Japa, 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 japa. No plan, because they're desperate. They're desperate. Sisters and brothers, I say, take warning. Sister Nolan made an excellent point, that they're coming now with all kinds of things, making promises, and they have a lot of money, and it's your money. Your money. And I tell you something, and I have sung that warning, I will not be in Parliament, but I'll be a strong voice in the country. As a father of the politics in this country at this time, I would be calling on the NNP government to investigate how some of them get rich overnight. I could talk like this, because they had 3 inquiries against me and not one inch of evidence that Keith Mitchell did anything to fool his pocket at the expense of the country. Because Keith Mitchell came from Washington as a successful person, and everyone thought I was mad to come. When you come into service like the members here, they ain't coming to look for money. They come in to help their people. They come in to develop the country. And therefore I say to you, sisters and brothers, stay strong. We are going to be there. We will win the next election. We will protect our children and the future of our country. Thank you and good night.